right, Jeremy?
Yeah, of course. And then you also have just the threat of weakness, right?
Yeah.
Mega Absol EX is weak to that Iron Leaves EX. And the thing we're going to have to really just watch out for is those Cornerstone Mask Ogre EXs. That's really going to try to just decide this match.
Well, here we go, heading on into the game. And one other thing about this Joltik toolbox list as well, Jeremy, the Mega Mawile that we were talking about kind of showing up in decks like Golden Go is actually appearing here now in Joltik toolbox. You have plenty of acceleration in terms of energy to that Mega Mawile because you only need 2 to start chowing down here, but we're heading into game.
It does look like Truin is going to start things off. Miraidon EX in the active spot. What better Pokemon to start with than the Pokemon that you can use Tandem Unit to get all the Pokemon you need?
The biggest thing here, though, I don't think Truin really wants to go first with this deck, right? Both of these decks actually want to use their attacks in terms of the jolting charge on Joltik to get the energy on the board. And the same thing on Robin's side, too, as well, with the Technical Machine Turbo Energize. My goodness, was that a pass? I saw the hand go, and that's actually just going to be a pass right on over to Robin.
All right. I mean, sometimes that's what happens. You don't want those Lightning Pokemon in your deck, but you do get that deck search so you can look at the prize cards. You do have Mew EX in the prize cards, which is one of the ways to actually attack down a Cornerstone Mask Ogre Pawn.
Yeah, absolutely. You also have, the prizes aren't too crazy on Truin's side as well, but it's going straight on over into Robin. And of course, the ace spec of choice in Robin's list being that Precious Trolley, being able to go on ahead and grab your full bench of attackers ready to go, and also just the Turbo Energize as well here. Looking at Robin's prizes there, Jeremy, I'm not seeing anything too crazy. The Petron EX, though, could be one of those key pieces, but still 1 Monkey Dory, Bravery Charm, a couple of supporters. I'm not too worried if I'm Robin.
One thing to note, too, on Truin's side is the switch, which is one of the ways to get out of a clutch from the Yveltal, which could come into play in this matchup. But wow, Robin starting things off the perfect way if you're playing a Precious Trolley deck, and that is Arven for the Trolley and that Technical Machine Turbo Energize.
One of the things, if you notice on the board right now, Jeremy, I mean, there's no Mega Absol coming down onto the bench this turn, and it was because of the plethora of grass-type attackers that you have in this deck that can handle something like a Mega Absol. Now, granted, Galvantula isn't hitting those super crazy big numbers, but very well could with the right amount of energy attached, but also, of course, the Iron Leaves here. And now we're going to see a couple more draws off of the rapid or the run errand here, but we'll see where the energy gets accelerated to.
Mega Kangaskhan in this matchup is actually pretty great. Like, it's not going to really get one hit outside of something like a Pikachu EX, but you have Lively Stadium and Bravery Charm to really help you with that math. And with a Monkey Dory Adrenabrain, Mega Kangaskhan, its rapid fire combo can take knockouts of pretty much anything, even without a heads.
One of the big things with Petrump being prized as well, Jeremy, is that we can't really start our kind of poison damage kind of throwing around the Monkey Dory counters on something as small as a Joltik here, too. So that's actually kind of a big part of the engine being locked away here. But we are going to see Tandem Unit for that Joltik. A couple of attackers here. I mean, we do have Pikachu EX, as we can see. And that's a big kind of green light here for Truin, saying, hey, I don't see a Petrunt. That could mean that Resolute Heart is able to kind of tank a hit here from this Mega Kangaskhan EX and start hitting those big numbers.
I have to think if Truin actually just Tandem Unit to fail, maybe playing some mind games with Robin. Like, oh no, my Joltiks are prized, my Pikachus are prized, what's going on? But having a great start here on the second turn, having the Arven for the Bravery Charm and a Pokegear, so kind of signaling the hand might be a little weak for next turn, hoping to Pokegear for something like a Crispin or Boss's Order to get things rolling after this Jolting charge.
And it's kind of a matter of where we go next here with the energy. We could absolutely split between Iron Hands and Pikachu. I mean, Monkey Dory and Yveltal are both great targets for an Ampu very much. Putting the Bravery Charm on Iron Hands as well wants to at least stay up and running on the bench to potentially survive something like a rapid fire combo from Mega Kangaskhan if we decide to play a little bit aggressive here. I can imagine that we're just going to put the energy mostly on Iron Hands here and then give some love on over. Oh, we're going to actually just go all the way through with Jolting Charge just straight onto Iron Hands.
I mean, Iron Hands is pretty good at taking the Ampu very much KOs on Monkey Dory, on Yveltal. Maybe you're just trying to cheat prizes that way. It's very daunting to take down these big Mega Pokemon, especially when you have to discard those energies. And it just could be, again, a sign of the hand being a little bit weaker on Truin's side of board.
Now, we have a couple of interesting interactions here with the Lively Stadium coming down potentially into play this turn. One of the biggest interactions with Lively Stadium is actually going to be on that Pikachu EX here. If Robin were to play down that Lively Stadium and then use a rapid fire combo into a Pikachu EX, if that stadium were to be bumped, Pikachu has already taken all of that damage, which means Resolute Heart would not be applied here, and that Pikachu would actually be knocked out. So it's a very interesting kind of weird line that you actually have to play around here, but I'm interested to see how Robin is going to be able to loop that into his game plan.
That is so true. You really have to play around that Resolute Heart at all times. Usually you try to do it with that Adrenabrain from Monkey Dory, but Lively Stadium is a great way to work around it. Now, Arven from Robin does find Bravery Charm and Pokegear. It seems like both players are going to be doing that. And having the third energy on the Mega Kangaskhan, do we see the retreat? Yeah, just take the knockout. Now, it's a one prize knockout, not going to be the best, but you got to get something going.
Lively Stadium comes into play here. I'm wondering if Robin wants to just start getting some prizes here. And the thing is about Joltik Toolbox, Jeremy, is that the deck goes fast, right? And it forces you to go a little bit faster here with a deck that we've kind of realized over the weekend takes a little bit more kind of tenacity to play rather than just kind of saying, oh, I'll wait for my Monkey Dories to go here, there, and everywhere. But taking only Lily's Determination off the prizes that Petron's not seeing game plan for quite some time.
And taking a look at the list for Truant as well, I'm looking for a counter stadium. There is none. So that Lively Stadium is going to be in play this entire game. That means this Mega Kangaskhan EX is safe from Pikachu EX, at least for the time being. And that is great news for Robin. Now attaching the Grass Energy to the Pikachu, Truant did draw a Crispin off the top for the turn. Had that Pheasantipity EX, and there we see the boss's orders. We're going to see the Amp You Very Much for 2 prizes here.
This is exactly what you want to see if you're Truant, right? You want to right away start targeting down these single prize Pokemon that also are kind of the engine of this deck as well, kind of the points where we're using all these damage counters. But of course, we're going to see our favorite Amp You Very Much hands dance here, and it will be the knockout thanks to weakness as well.
Yeah, weakness actually allowing the knockout, because if you boss's orders the Monkey Dory, that Lively Stadium is going to keep it in play. That plus 30 HP is really going to swing this match.
Seeing what Robin can do here. I mean, the Bravery Charm onto the Iron Hands plus the Lively Stadium, Jeremy, is putting us at 310. Now, granted, the Lively Stadium, of course, is helping Robin in keeping these Mega Kangaskhan up and running, but it's also, of course, helping Truant as well. Not too many evolution Pokemon inside this deck other than the Galvantula that we sometimes see in certain matchups here, but I'm wondering if it's going to be time to put down this Mega Mawile soon as well. We know that the first attack is going to be able to kind of go up here, but it is going to be the counter catcher onto Pheasantipity EX here. We'll see if Robin's going to be able to flip some heads.
And the crazy thing you were talking about, too, is with the interaction of Pikachu EX, there's no way to bump the Lively Stadium on Robin's side either. So it's just going to have 230 HP. Now, Countercatcher bringing up the Pheasantipity, going to need 1 heads to try to take this knockout. And it's going to be pretty important to keep up in the prize race with it.
Then Robin would be at 3 prizes, and honestly, we can figure out where it goes after that here. But Arven being played for turn, and another counter catcher coming down, or just an Earthen Vessel as well. We can just choose to start manually attaching here. We don't need to Technical Machine Turbo Energize at this point anymore. But I'm interested to see where these energy are going to start being placed. Probably just onto the second Kangaskhan at this point. Once again, we have no Petron EX to start throwing around these damage counters here, so it might as well just start going to your second attacker.
And just like that, discarding that Technical Machine found off the Arven and the Earthen Vessel, grabbing those 2 energy. Fighting, most likely going on that bench Mega Kangaskhan EX. Save the Dark for the Monkey Dory if you need it. And this is pretty much the setup Robin will kind of have for the rest of this game. Opted not to go for the Cornerstone route in this game 1, opting for double Mega Kangaskhan EX. And one thing to note, too, with Run Errand, you can only use 1 of those abilities per turn. So the 2 Pokemon, you won't be able to draw 4 cards.
This is kind of the uh-oh math when it comes to a big basics deck like Mega Kangaskhan EX here. So now sitting at 380 HP, but no. Unfortunately we got to re-roll that dice because it just flew off the table here. But Jeremy, a basic Pokemon. Now granted, it is worth 3 prizes here, but that's the first heads. That's exactly what Robin needs to keep going. And this Mega Kangaskhan has no fear of getting knocked out.
It is definitely going to put a lot of pressure on Truant on this turn to just try to cobble together some aggression, maybe another boss's orders, but you can't take a knockout on the Monkey Dory with Amp You Very Much, and taking 1 prize isn't the best.
And we're now in the weird kind of point here where Truant has to kind of take into consideration, yes, I can absolutely use Topaz Bolt. I can find ways to kind of replenish a lot of the energy onto this Pikachu EX, but then you have to start thinking that Robin is absolutely going to start playing the penny loop, right? Saying, I have 3 pennies in deck, I am going to be able to just recycle these Mega Kangaskhan, and Truant doesn't have too many ways aside if he were to be able to find another Joltik and then keep, recycling the energy here, but it just seems like hitting into the Mega Kangaskhan isn't ideal here, so we have to find the alternate win conditions. I'm thinking alongside of trying to target down this Latias EX with something like a Mega Mawile, but the thing is, the Lively Stadium interaction here, Monkey Dory is not an Amp You Very Much target. It really only is, an arm press target at most, and that's just 1 prize.
Yeah, it is not really the best prize mapping here in the situation for this game 1, and staring down both of those Mega Kangaskhan EX has to be daunting. And the fact that Robin is playing the bench pretty tightly as well, did have the trolley, but only has 3 prizes essentially for Truant without taking the knockout on those Mega Kangaskhan. Now, we do see the retreat to the Iron Hands EX. There is no boss order, so we're just going to see an arm press for 160 damage. This will hopefully soften it up a little bit, but still has 220 HP.
A little bit risky here sending up the Iron Hands, especially because Robin has flipped heads once. Now granted 310, it does require Robin to have a little bit of sauce in some of these coin flips here. But back on over to Robin's turn, you can already see, at least we have the view, Penny is very close to the top of Robin's hand here. And of course, once again, it's called this Penny loop, right? Being able to just say, hey, this Pokemon is taking damage. But there we go, the Dark Energy now coming down onto Monkey Dory here. Let's do some math, Jeremy.
Oh, you're forcing it on me now? All right, 30 damage on that Pikachu EX. Now it has 200 HP left and does not have its Resolute Heart ability active. So a simple boss's orders would be able to take the knockout and put Robin down to 1 prize card left. And does look like he's going to do that here. He's going to have that Mega Kangaskhan EX in the active spot with 130 damage on it. But even with 130 damage, there's nothing on the board for Truant to actually take a knockout on it.
Yeah, this is just looking a little bit rough now in terms of the math here. Now, granted, if we are able to set up another Pikachu EX, there are 2 in the deck, and find a way to work around it there. But I mean, Robin's down to just 1 prize card here. A lot of Pokemon on this field right now can be susceptible to something along the lines of moving some damage back on over into the Monkey Dory, and then potentially hitting something like finding Boss on Miraidon, for example, and then flipping heads here. But I'm thinking it is just going to have to be Blood Moon Ursaluna time. But I think we're 10 damage short. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy, the fact that these Pokemon have so much HP nowadays. And the combination of the Lively Stadium and Brave Free Charm in this Mega Toolbox deck has put in so much work throughout these past couple of tournaments. Blood Moon Ursaluna is usually your closer. And it can attack for free, but I think we're just going to maybe see that Monkey Dory being brought up. I don't know. Looking at the hand, you might have to rely off this Pokegear. Oh, there is Tool Scrapper in the deck, too.
It's a big card to draw as well here. But once again, Lively Stadium turning out to be kind of the thorn in the side of honestly, Truant, and a little bit of Robin, able to work around it as well with, of course, the Monkey Dory finding its dark energy here. But it's you kind of have to throw up this Blood Moon Ursaluna, excuse me, get at least something going on here. But Iron Leaves, when there's no Mega Absol, the line here of trying to get these knockouts just isn't as clear as it would be if just 1 Dark-type Pokemon had hit this bench.
No way to draw cards in this hand for Truant. That Pheasantipity X was knocked out. Only having Crispin in the hand, that Pokegear was not able to find anything useful. That means that this Blood Moon Ursaluna is going to be 10 short. No way to grab that Tool Scrapper from the deck. Even an Arven would have been enough.
290 on the Blood Moon Ursaluna as well. I'm wondering if I'm Robin, just maybe pennying this damaged Mega Kangaskhan seems like our proper line here, but then recycling the Bravery Charm onto the Mega Kangaskhan on the bench here, and then just trying to find it. But massive find with the Monkey Dory here. Can we get the monkey math going enough to take the knockout? I believe we actually can.
Boss's orders in the hand, and there we go. Robin able to just completely dismantle the game 1 here in our Swiss round 13.
Yeah, it goes to show, Jeremy, the clear lines, even when Lively Stadium comes down, the math for Truant just kind of fell apart at the seams, right? We saw the Ampy very much onto something like the Yveltal, but that Lively Stadium actually protected the Monkey Dory for the rest of that game as well. Now, granted, we do have ways to buff the damage on Truant's side with that Iron Hands, with the Future Booster Energy Capsule here, but we weren't able to find a reliable way. Like you had said, we weren't really able to find some of these draw supporters that Truant really needed.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay for our game 1. A great back and forth. You had that Jolting charge, able to charge up that Iron Hands EX on the second turn, but powered up Mega Kangaskhan EX able to take down that Joltik. And then here we see the Ampy very much taking 2 prize cards on that Yveltal due to that lightning weakness, but then the big flip, flipping the heads, taking the knockout on the Pheasantipity, really just stranding the hand for Truant, unable to find anything. And with the Monkey Dory able to take another knockout on that Pikachu EX, Robin is able to really pull ahead in this game. And that Mega Kangaskhan has so many dice on it, but it does not matter because Boss's orders, double Monkey Dory able to take game 1.
And I think you mentioned it really well, Jeremy, a little bit earlier, that there is Tool Scrapper in the list for Truant. Truant can absolutely find a way to at least, try and at least mitigate some of the damage here and make it so that hitting these high numbers is a little bit more palpable. But we'll see what the prize cards bring here for both players. I'm interested to see if we're going to be missing any key pieces. And not to spoil it for you, Jeremy, there's one pretty important card for Robin looming in the prizes.
Well, we got a Mega Kangaskhan EX in the active spot, so Run Errand is drawing 2 cards, finds an Arven, but is going first, so really just has an energy to attach and pass, and this is what Truant wants. Going second, having that access to Joltik, all need is a retreat and able to charge up a Pikachu EX potentially.
Arven in hand as well, I believe, too. Drew the Pikachu for turn, that definitely helps here. Get a little bit of a deck search, but as I alluded to a little bit earlier, Jeremy, the prizes are not kind to Robin this game. And you know that Robin has an Arven in hand, I believe, for next turn, where he's going to be able to find that very Rude Awakening. Has one part of the great combo of the Turbo Energize in hand, but not able to kind of find your Pokemon all reliably. That's got to sting a little bit.
Hey, listen, Arven finds Nest Ball at least, and sometimes that's all we really need, right? Now, Truant's prizes has that Mew EX in the prize cards again, a few supporters, but a deck like Joltik really just plays 4 of every supporter that it does. You just want to see Arven turn 1, and then potentially Boss's orders for the rest of the game, Crispin if you need it, but Arven finds the Tool Scrapper, and that was one thing to note too, is if Robin knew about the Tool Scrapper, could have been trying to play around it maybe, but here, Truant revealing it, just grabbing it in the hand, needed it last game, really bad. So it's just saying, all right, I'm just going to put it in the hand. Hopefully I'll keep it for the rest of the game.
Absolutely. Air Balloon, though, is going to at least get Joltik into the active. It's very interesting to see 2 Pikachu EX being benched here. Obviously, it's the correct play at this point. You want your multi-attacker set up here, and having such a high count of Crispin in Truan's deck, it just makes sense that you're going to be able to find these multi-attackers ready to go here. Like you said, Jeremy, Nest Ball is all we need. We also do have the Arven here.
Oh, we drew a Nest Ball, too. So,
yeah.
Hey, it's a poor man's precious trolley. All right? It's a trolley.
We can get 2, but
it's not precious, it's just a trolley.
Robin does have a couple of basic Pokemon in the hand already, so he could find you know, the bench that he needs ready to go here, but we're gonna finally see on Robin's side that's not exactly great here. Only one other copy of Mega Kangaskhan prize, and there are only 2 in the deck here, so now only having access to 1. But the thing is, you see Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX coming to the front of Robin's search here. This is another line. It feels like both of these decks, Jeremy, have kind of an answer to each other's attackers, right? You have Iron Leaves for something like a Mega Absol. You have Pikachu EX to try and hit these big numbers on Mega Kangaskhan. But then you go onto the other side here, and then you have Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon to handle Pokemon with an ability here. So it's going to be a little bit tricky.
Yeah, such a great point. It really depends on your opponent's turn, right? So we see Truan charge up 2 Pikachu EXs, and last game we saw all 4 energy go down on the Iron Hands. So Iron Hands able to attack into a Cornerstone. Robin sensing, okay, well, you're committing 4 energy to those Pikachu EX. You saw that I was using Mega Kangaskhan EX very effectively in Game 1. Maybe I pivot into the Cornerstone game plan this game.
Yeah, and I'm looking now, and I'm really kind of thinking about it. Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon is weak to grass, and there is a Galvantula.
That has an ability, though.
Yeah, it's true. Not exactly the way you want to see it.
It's only tough. Iron Hands, Mew, and that Mega Mawile, and Metal Energy in the prize cards is also going to be a little bit detrimental for Truan, even with these Pikachu EX, because 3 in the list is great, but you're going to be discarding energy with that Pikachu. So we could see maybe trying to dig for Super Rod, something, but that's later on in the game.
You got to take some prizes before Mega Mawile becomes this true threat here. I'm wondering how Bravery Charm is going to be coming into play, what Robin is going to choose to, you know, give a little bit more HP to. Lively Stadium as well, always looming in the background as kind of this threat here, but back on over to Truan's turn. We'll see how they want to handle it here.
Crispin in the hand will help power up both of those Pikachu EX, and we're going to see 3 prize cards taken at least, but Robin's going to be left with a Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX in play, fully powered up, with Truan having nothing in play that can really take it down right now.
Well, we just hope EX comes out of the prizes, don't we, Jeremy, at this point, right?
Well, even with that, it's just you're
true.
playing a game of back and forth. All right, 140. Hope you don't have Monkey Dory, and then if not, or if you do, multiple can get kind of out of hand. You have Energy Switch to kind of surprise 2 Adrenabrain in one turn. It's really going to be dependent on what Robin has in hand, but Truan at least doing what Joltik does, right? It's Jolting Charge. All right, play either a boss or a Crispin and take some prizes.
Just the ideal Crispin here, Metal Energy. I really want to see kind of the line that Robin wants to play, only having 1 Pokemon. I'm assuming that the Bravery Charm is going to be saved for the Cornerstone Mask, but we'll see what the tandem unit brings. And if it's 1 Pokemon that we've been talking about that doesn't have a ability, it is going to have to be this Iron Hand. So we have to get a little bit creative with the prize mapping, absolutely hitting in for 160 on the arm press, but then trying to make sure that Robin doesn't find the penny loop to keep refreshing this Cornerstone.
It's a little bit awkward. You want to use that Mega Mawile to really be able to just one-hit KO that Cornerstone Mask, but you're using your Metal Energies to power up this Pikachu EX. Now, 1 metal in the deck and then 1 metal in the prize cards. If Truan takes the metal in the prize cards, you might even want to go for that Mega Mawile with something like the Arven next turn.
Mega Mawile's attack, this gobbled down, is doing 80 damage for each prize card you have taken, not your opponent, you. So you're doing some extra damage here, but Robin is going to at least bring up this Cornerstone Mask and using the Nest Ball to find another one. And we were talking a little bit earlier, Jeremy, about, you know, deck flexibility here, where, you know, this Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan has an answer for kind of everything. You just have to pick and find your correct lines. But of course, that Bravery Charm coming on to the Cornerstone Mask EX, we'll see how exactly it's going to be played.
Now, having the second one on the bench is pretty good, just in case this first one goes down. Now, these are the last, like, 2 knockouts that Truan would have to take to win the game. I don't think we're going to see a Monkey Dory really hit the board unless it's just dire straits. But having the energy on that Iron Hands EX, we might see a counter catcher just to kind of hit down. But, oh, just boss orders, same thing. Being able to hit into the Iron Hands, it's going to take a lot to power it up and deal some damage, and then you can just hit into it again. And if you're charging up the Iron Hands EX, you're not going to be able to charge up that Mega Mawile.
We're talking about recovery here. There's only 1 Super Rod in Truan's list here, and if Truan chooses to use it on something like an Iron Hands, that means it's actually not going to be able to use for too much energy after that, right? We talked about one of the alternate win conditions for this game being this Mega Mawile here that would be, you know, at massive hit points here to try and find a line through it here. But I'm interested to see if Truan's going to be able to at least get an energy onto this Mega Mawile and then play defense with it, try and protect it, because we know that Robin has a plan here.
Nestball does find that Mawile, gets it on the bench. Here we see Arvin can find something like the Super Rod, or just even Earthen Vessel get the Metal Energy. Hope to find the Super Rod, Crispin next turn.
Well, the Future Booster Energy Capsule is going to be the only way that this Iron Hands gets out of the active here. And I have to wonder if we're on Robin's side here, if Robin's going to just go full aggressive at this point. I mean, Counter Catcher is technically live. Robin hasn't taken a prize card yet, and we're just going to be chasing down these Pokemon that have the ability to start attacking here. But there's that Metal Energy. Truan taking a second to try and figure out where it's going to go.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a big tell. Just grabbing the one Metal Energy off the Earthen Vessel. Robin has to receive that signal that, okay, you have a metal prized, and the fact that you're not grabbing another energy means you're really going to have to choose between trying to power up this Mega Mawile EX or just trying to do something, right? It's not going to be as impactful, and with the Bravery Charm, you know Truan has the Tool Scrapper in hand, so we're actually seeing an attachment to the Joltik, and we're going to have another Jolting charge here, but really you're just giving up one prize instead of the two to that Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon.
Giving another little bit of just another chance to look really at the deck here, maybe thin out just a couple of more cards, and you still can absolutely accelerate these energies to your Pikachus, maybe even Miraidon, to Iron Hands as well, of course, which is the obvious choice here. But you have to be very wary because, once again, Counter Catcher is live, Boss's Orders is live. That Iron Hands can very well just go down this turn, and then Joltik is just going to be kind of sitting on the bench, just essentially wasting space. Very interesting to put the Lightning Energy here on to Mega Mawile. I mean, the second attack on Mega Mawile, huge bite, does 260 base, but there is the Boss's Order here. Now we're going to actually start stacking damage onto the Mega Mawile.
Actually, the Counter Catcher, so even better, able to Lily's Determination, draw 8 cards along with bringing up that Mega Mawile EX. Only having 270 HP, that means the Demolish from Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX will be able to 2-hit knockout this big Mega Pokemon, and then it would be tied up essentially 3-3 prizes.
I want to see what exactly this Lily's Determination brings for Robin. I would love to see second Bravery Charm come onto the Cornerstone Mask on the bench here, but once again, one of the biggest things about Lily's Determination, no prize cards taken. That is a fresh 8 cards here for Robin. There's a Bravery Charm. Also finds Boss's Orders for a future turn and some more energy as well here. So Robin's hand is just going to be playing towards the board state as another Demolish is going to hit this Mega Mawile. And now, Jeremy, it's all up to Truan. Got to find a way to protect both of your attackers here.
It is definitely looking rough for how this game kind of started, and that's just the power of Cornerstone stance in this matchup. It really forces your opponent to play with their back foot against the wall, and here we see Arvin. This is going to be able to find Super Rod at least, so Super Rod can shuffle back in that one Metal Energy in the discard.
Opting for potentially a switch as well here, so just going to use switch to playing defense, right? Using Bravery Charm onto this Mega Mawile makes sense as well. You want it to be able to take a hit, but we know from Robin's hand that Robin's just going to go full aggression at this point. We need to at least get some damage in this turn, whether it be Iron Hands going in for an arm press, because Robin can't take care of both, right? Robin can take one of these attackers down, but can't take both. Therefore, the math here just has to line up.
Bravery Charm and switch found off the Arvin. Bravery Charm on the Mega Mawile, and having to use the switch because there's no Latios EX in play. Normally, you see that having free retreat for everyone on your bench and active, but there is that Metal Energy. Still needs to find the Super Rod. I don't know if it's in the hand. Yeah, it's not in the hand, so still has to try to find it off the top of the deck here, and there is the arm press, 180 damage. Not going to be enough to take the knockout, but we're going to have to see.
This is a very interesting decision that Robin has to make now, going back on over into his turn. If he chooses to go for the extra prizes with Mega Mawile EX, the game is going to end next turn because that Iron Hands EX is just going to use EMP very much onto this Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon and take 3 prizes here. So now Robin's in a really kind of strange situation where what is technically the priority here in getting rid of the kind of craziest threat that we can work with. You see the Mist Energy as well that Robin has in hand, and that's going to go onto the Cornerstone Mask onto the bench here. It might just have to be a retreat and hope that Truan's not going to play too aggressive, or maybe even just a Penny.
Yeah, Penny would be ideal here in this scenario, able to clear that 180 damage off the active, as well as just getting your new Pokemon up. But there is the Boss's Orders. This is actually going to be best case scenario for Truan. At least you can take another knockout, but Robin pretty afraid of this Mega Mawile. Doesn't take the knockout with the Demolish because of that Bravery Charm. So still sticking around here. This is the chance for Truin to try to find that Metal Energy. Does not find it off the top. Just a third Ultra Ball. Those are not going to be of any use here. Might as well discard those.
This is the problem with Joltik Box and this deck here. And while, yes, it does an amazing job of taking prizes really quickly, the draw supporters in this deck are kind of low, especially when you've essentially bench locked yourself now with double Pikachu. So unable to get this Mew EX, and now granted it is in the prizes, but if it wasn't in the prizes, not having access to your draw forces these very awkward turns where we can't even use an attack this turn. We kind of just have to wait and see what Robin is going to go for here. And now it's just going to have to be a pass back over.
Yeah, unable to retreat this Mega Mawile to take the knockout. And you were saying there's low draw supporters in the deck. There's zero draw supporters in this deck. It is Arven, Crispin, and Boss. We see that Lively Stadium in Robin's hand now. Does he have access to something like the Penny? Does not look like just a bunch of Arven. But this is still a really good scenario for Robin in this match. These Cornerstone Masks, Ogerpon are putting in a lot of work.
Even if Robin were to put down the Lively Stadium this turn, there is knowledge that there is a Tool Scrapper in Truin's deck as well here. So it is going to be the Arven for turn and just potentially prepping for next turn at this point where we've trying to find something along the lines of a Pokegear just to draw into another one of these pennies. It's a weird stalemate that we're in, especially with these looming threats that could just be finding a boss or finding a way just to have Mega Mawile even attack at this point would help Truin get back into this game.
It's never the best when you're finding Pokegear off your Arven, trying to dig for something like a boss's orders, but there is the counter catcher, so we could just see the Iron Hands EX being brought up and taking the knockout, especially with Truin not doing anything on the turn. You have to think, oh, there's going to be a Crispin in that hand or something, so you might sense that, yeah, you're out of Metal Energy right now.
No access to it, and now just leaving Mega Mawile here. I like the idea, Jeremy, and it will be the counter catcher there, and now Truin is in a real bind here, really. I mean, there's no access to the Metal Energy. We're playing a very low amount of recovery here, so this Iron Hands may just be staying down. And we've already evolved the Joltik onto the bench as well into this Galvantula. We can't even Jolting Charge again here, so it is going to be a couple more prizes found for Robin here. Has he found essentially a lock?
We do have Pheasantipity EX on Truin's side of the board, so flip the script for 3 cards, can maybe find Crispin Super Rod. See the Crispin, but no Super Rod here, and honestly, with the way this game has been going, it is looking like Truin just doesn't really have an out to this double Cornerstone.
And it's all because one energy is prized. Think about that, right?
Yeah.
One energy being unavailable just ruins the entire line here. And now Truin has to get creative in protecting the Mega Mawile, but it is just going to be the pass back on over to Robin. I want to see what Robin's going to be able to do. Finds the Penny off the top as well, but you can see Robin already pushing the boss's orders to the front of the hand. Now is go time to absolutely play aggressive. Finds the Mega Mawile, able to take 3 prizes here, and a couple passes from Truin took, you know, essentially a great lead, now kind of falling behind, all because of one energy.
It happens. The game of Pokemon, your prize cards can make or break your tournament run. And it is looking like with both players at 9-1 and 2, a loss here would knock them out of asymmetrical cut. At least in the past it has. Earthen Vessel for a Dark Energy. Again, just going through the motions. You have this game pretty much locked up. You're going to take 3 prizes, need to take 1 more on the following turn. But your opponent is going to be left with nothing to take down these Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EXs.
I think insult to injury would just be Truin's next draw being the Super Rod, and there is another Iron Hands in hand here and a Crispin to show, but there's no energy acceleration like Energy Switch in a deck like Joltik Box to try and at least find a way to just get this Cornerstone Mask out of here, but the Demolish is going to take the math here, and now Robin only needs 1 more prize card.
This has been all Robin this entire match, really showcasing the different avenues that you can take with this Mega Toolbox deck. Pheasantipity EX drawing 3 cards. Those are not going to help at all. I guess the only win condition is Robin just benching that Mega Absol or something, but with the Lively Stadium now, Pikachu can't even take the knockout.
Absolutely not, and it could also come down to the fact that if there's another pass and just leave it.
There we go. With that, Robin Schultz moving on to 10-1 and 2, still in great contention for top cut, and it's doing it with a deck that has really been showing off this weekend in that Mega Toolbox.
And it's flexible, right? If it's something that we've learned this entire weekend is that Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan is very, very flexible. You can only imagine how that game would have went, Jeremy, if Robin had started Mega Absol. No other choice than to start Mega Absol because it's technically a liability, but just even playing to your outs of just saying, hey, Cornerstone Mask is still in this deck. I know a lot